The 10 on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM 81, New York.
Sponsored by Primo Brands, the official water sponsor of MLB. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Good afternoon. At 1 o'clock, I'm Peter Schwartz. Yankees look to bounce back from last night's crazy 13-12 loss to the Marlins. They take on the Fish again in Miami. Pitching matchup today, Cam Schlittler and Yuri Perez. Coverage here on the Fan at 3:30. First pitch, 4:10. Mets and Giants again this afternoon at Citi Field. Last night, Mets dropping a 4-3 loss in 10 innings, dropping them a half game back of the Phillies in the National League East. Kodai Senga on the hill today. Coverage over on Odyssey Mets Radio at 3:30. First pitch at 4:10. Now to Giants camp, where head coach Brian Daboll was asked about his team's mindset heading into next Saturday's preseason opener against the Bills. Meanwhile, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn this morning, very emotional, hearing the Jets, Jets chants from the fans. And Glenn was not happy with so many penalties at practice this morning. And breaking news from the NBA that was just released, Lakers All-Star, All-NBA star Luka Doncic has signed a 3-year, $165 million max contract extension with the franchise with a player option for 2028. Fan weather, 78 degrees, mostly sunny skies in Central Park. That's what's happening with Sports Flashes. At the top of the hour, I'm Peter Schwartz.
On New York Sports here.
Bro, what are you doing? I don't want to live in this. I don't want to relive this.
It's AM to AM.
No, it's not.
AM.
Yeah, it's Saturday, and I'm not gonna let the Yankees kill my vibe. Nope. I'm good. They did it last night. I'm good on that. Let's talk Mets or something else. I don't care. Let's talk Jets, Giants camp, the Bristol Motor Speedway game going on tonight. Yikes. I mean, we can't escape it. Not until 4:10 today. Mets fans and Yankee fans, false start coming out the gate. Yikes. I was watching both of those games last night and they were tied at the same time. And I was thinking both teams were going to win, right? The Mets are so good at home. Obviously, the better team. They just swept the Giants. The Yankees just added all of these guys, right? Both teams just built a super pen. Yeah. First off, RIP to Thurman Munson. God bless Diana Munson and the Munson family and all of the people in, the Thurman Munson group and the supporters and all of those Yankee fans that lived through that day and that time. August 2nd, 1979. I can't imagine. Obviously, as Yankee fans, young Yankee fans, we learn about that. We know about that. And for me, I've told you guys that I was able to host the Thurman Munson Gala and meet Diana Munson and listen to her stories and, be around Goose Gossage and Bucky Dent and Nettles and White and Mickey Rivers and hear those guys talk about Thurman Munson, the teammate, the man. And I had to start with RIP. I know I said that on my last show previously on KM to AM. We were celebrating. I said it's one night that we can celebrate, right? Can we at least be happy? You guys are allergic to being happy. The Mets weren't on. The Yankees weren't on. We got new gifts, new toys, right? I said I couldn't remember a time that both teams could say, hey, I'm happy with this trade deadline. We're better. We got what we needed. Maybe it wasn't exactly what you wanted, right? Maybe you didn't get Luis Robert. But I mean, Tyler Rogers on top of the Gregory Soto move, and then Ryan Helsley. Hells bells. I told y'all that was going to go off at Citi Field. They were ready for it too. I told you that Ryan Helsley's entrance with the LED lights and the SNY cameras and how they produced that broadcast, whether you were in the building for fireworks night or not. And I saw Al Cintrone tweet that fireworks night, they don't win on fireworks night. Citi Field. They have a good home field advantage, right? They win a lot of games there, but they don't win on fireworks night. And there weren't enough fireworks from the offense. This offense is struggling mightily. This Mets offense with these high-priced players that they're some of the best hitters in the game. You've seen it. There's just something about it. Maybe they need to shake up the lineup. The lineup is out for today's game. We can start there. Brandon Nimmo will lead off again in left field. Francisco Lindor will bat second, playing shortstop. Juan Soto will bat third out in right field. Pete Alonso will bat cleanup, playing first base. Jeff McNeil will be the DH, batting fifth. Ronnie Mauricio will be sixth over there at third base. Cedric Mullins, Cedric the Entertainer, wearing number 28, will bat seventh in center field. Francisco Alvarez will do the catching, batting eighth, and batting ninth. Brett Barry Bonds Beatty will be the 9-hitter at second base. 888-808-1019. Mets fans, call in. I know the station has been dominated the last few hours. Shout out to Big Mac. And, we're going to get into the Yankees talk with me. It's a quick show, though, but we do have to talk about the make it happen Mets. They almost made it happen last night. I was sure of it. With David Peterson on the mound, he actually went past the fourth, fifth inning. David Peterson got into a little bit of trouble with the Giants. And you know what? After sweeping the Giants did something that they couldn't do with the Mets in their building last week. They scored with runners in scoring position early. They got on the board early. And they wouldn't need too much more. But you got to be able to overcome that. You got to be able to overcome, 2 runs. Come on. As much as these guys are paid to do the heavy lifting, and I won't get on them too much because they did come through a little bit. I mean, you did get Juan Soto driving in a run. Pete Alonso did homer. He drove in 2 runs, but it's just not enough from the Fab Four, the Met Quartet, the Flushing Four, whatever you want to call these guys. No nicknames. Steve Cohen kind of jumps the gun with things like that. No Twitter for you, Steve. Get off the tweets. We don't need it. David Stearns doesn't tweet. David Stearns just goes out and gets the pieces that he needs. And maybe you needed another bat, man. Maybe you needed another bat. But also, it's the first game out of the break. I think we joked the first game coming out of the All-Star break, right? This is the first game after a deadline. Excuse me. We joked that the first game out of the All-Star break, like, oh, hey, you know, the second half of the season starts tomorrow. Like we had a mulligan then. It's baseball, man. You cannot predict baseball. Baseball to me, it is wacky. It doesn't make any sense. It is hard to predict. That's why you can't bet on this stuff. That's why you got these guys gambling on this stuff. I don't know. That's what I thought last time. I'm like, oh, Jose Caballero's got Marlins money line. But yeah, I was on Thursday and the Braves were playing the Reds and they had a 16-run inning, the 8th inning. Both teams scored 8, right? There was some wacky stuff going on in baseball, not just with the Marlins last night and the Yankees last night, and even with how that Mets game shook out with Jose Butto. Life comes at you fast. Jose Butto back on the mound. He escapes a jam to get 2 outs. And then Dom Smith still hanging around, former Yankee legend, right? Dom Smith was with the Yankees in spring training. He gets the job done, a revenge game for him. And you're looking at the Mets and you're saying you guys cannot score more than 3 runs coming back home this month of August. This month of August where you'll play 19 games in Citi Field. This month of August where you're going to be jockeying for position with the Philadelphia Phillies who, hey, I don't know if you saw Joan Duran and his entrance. It's better than Ryan Helsley's. But Citizens Bank Park, they had that queued up too. That was amazing. I'm like, baseball is amazing. Baseball is cool. Like these guys go from Minnesota to Philly, from St. Louis to New York, and they bring their entrances with them. They're WWE style entrances as you know we get ready for SummerSlam. You know the number to dial as I see the calls coming in, Yankee fans mostly. I don't know. There's something about me. I attract all the Yankee fans. The Met fan stays away. The Met fans, I don't want to talk to this guy about the Mets. I don't want to talk. I heard what this guy said about the Mets over the years. I'm not your guy, buddy. He's not your buddy guy. I am, though. I'm here. Let's talk about the Mets because I know I'm going to take a bunch of calls about the Yankees. And like I said, I don't want to live in that game last night. This is the Yankee roller coaster that we are strapped into. It's not time to get off the ride. You can't get off the ride. But damn, what did I say on Thursday? I said Brian Cashman did his job. Now it is on Aaron Boone and the players. And the first opportunity out of the gate, I hate to say it, is on Boone and the players. And like it's on the new players. Somehow these new shiny toys, right? We rip them out of the plastic. We throw them into the fire. We're so excited to see these new guys. They even panned to the bullpen. They showed you these guys. Like, this is these guys' first days meeting their teammates, right? These guys' first time pitching to Austin Wells. These guys' first time in the Yankee uniform. And the road grays are heavy too. But Aaron Boone, you are under a microscope because Brian Cashman actually did go build you a pen, build you a bench, and gave you so many reinforcements that every move you make is going to be looked at and examined. And hey, I was giving you props. Okay, you pinch hit Goldie, who also, hey, folks, I remember when I said Goldie has worn off. He's starting to look like the guy from last year that nobody wanted. And folks jumped on me and said, hey, he's been pretty good. He's been all right. He's got no pop. He can't hit homers. He could barely hit the ball into the outfield. He's a singles guy and a strikeout guy. Maybe I was just a couple days early. But anyway, they take him out of the game because the game is on the line. Aaron Boone, you have to affect the game at all times. You have to stop the bleeding. Ben Rice comes into that game, and I'm giving Aaron Boone credit because Ben Rice pinch hit works. You get the lefty into the game, and then you put Caballero on, and he steals a base, the stolen base leader in MLB, and he's able to score. And I'm like, yeah, Booney, you love it when a plan comes together. But speaking of plans, it seems like the Yankees can never go off script. They can never come up with a new plan. The manager has to be able to improvise. The manager has to say, this isn't working, right? With Jake Bird, with Bednar, and then Camilo Doval. You told us after the game on Thursday that Devin Williams was your closer. And I know the reason you go out and you get all these relievers and you have a bullpen repair is because the bullpen needs rest, right? These guys are overused. How many times can you go to Tim Hill, Luke Weaver, Devin Williams? But you went against your own words. Devin Williams, your closer, he had an off day. Or he had not an off day, but he didn't pitch Thursday. We were able to travel and go. Like, why can't you stop the bleeding and go to Devin Williams if that's your closer? Is he that overworked? He's not that overworked. And there's so many other little things in the game, right? The Yankees fundamentals and the Yankees mistakes, and we'll talk about them. It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. They're saying it's the worst loss of the year. They're saying it's one of the worst losses in history. I'll go through those numbers and stats and stuff, but I'm just kind of speaking freely here without my notes. The Yankees take you on the highs of highs and lows of lows all in one game. I got in bed at 9 o'clock last night. I was off last night. I was able to go to sleep. And man, these guys kept me up till midnight thinking about the game. You got to win that game with where the Blue Jays are after losing, where the Red Sox were after winning. You are also jockeying for position in your division and the wild card. You got to win that game. Aaron Boone's got to be able to say, hey, this isn't working. Jake Bird didn't work out. Bednar didn't work out. We're going to go 3 for 3 because that's the plan. These guys have been inactive because they were on the trade block. They need to get work. No, you got to win that game. And, of course, the Yankees, right, being up 6-0, being up 9-4, taking a lead late, they just find a way to lose. Now, you score 12 runs without Aaron Judge. You're supposed to win that game. And don't sleep on the Marlins either. I know everybody wants to say it's the Marlins. The Marlins have been playing better as of late. You know, if you look at the Marlins and they're 7-3 in their last 10. The Yankees are 5-5. And if you look at the Yankees in the last 2 months, they're playing at the same rate or winning at the same rate as like the White Sox and the Rockies. There's stats out there to tell you that the Yankees are no better than them. But yeah, for the Marlins, you know, the Marlins, before they faced the Yankees here in August, the Marlins, they beat the Cardinals, they beat the Brewers, they beat the Padres. So I don't know what y'all are talking about. They beat the Royals. Like, they have won multiple series in a row after the All-Star break. Their young guys are even out there tweeting about fans quitting on the team and how they're young and hungry. The kid Marshy last night, like, what a night. He makes his debut against the Yankees. It's one that he'll never forget. You know, he's able to rip a double for his first major league hit. He worked three walks. The number 9 hitter, Jacob Marcy, I don't know who he is, number 87. We saw him last night. But yeah, there's so many themes in this game that were positive, and they find a way to erase all the good. There were so many things that you saw that made you excited as a fan. Just Volpe in the beginning of the game, fielding a ball and throwing a strike to Goldie. I'm like, you see, he can do it. Get him away from Yankee Stadium. He can do it. And even the fact that you traded for Jose Caballero, who I love because I didn't realize this till after. Last year, the Garrett Cole finger wag guy that he did the finger wag, that meme, I'm like, that was him. You know, you add that guy into the clubhouse, and what did I tell you? Challenge him. I was calling for this weeks ago. I thought Ahmed Rosario was that move. It wasn't. Caballero was that move. I said, how did Volpe win the job? He had to compete against Peraza and IKF instead of just saying, hey, it's your job, and having that job security and that comfort of I'm going to play every day. Put somebody in the room that could spell him 1 and challenge him 2. And I mean, last night we saw Anthony Volpe on demon time. Last night, Anthony Volpe, and yes, he did, you know, that ball that went over Bednar's head. He couldn't make the play. He wasn't charged with an error. He wasn't able to make the play. But at the plate, he's unlocked something. And I said, they done turned him into the bad guy. All the booing, all the conversation about him, adding another shortstop, trading for one. Anthony Volpe homers to tie the game, and he hits the silencer, Selly. The pipe down. Everybody relax. I got this. I said, oh, swag, some aura, some confidence. There it is, young man. You can't play this game without confidence. You can't be the shortstop of the New York Yankees without confidence. It was there. Trent Grisham, bro, Like, the joke is that the Yankees won the Trent Grisham trade. Hell yeah, they have. He was supposed to be a fourth outfielder. He's a star this year. He just hit his career high homers. And, that homer that he hit, you're a mean one, Mr. Grish. That one had us like, yes, let's go. Here it is. Another clutch moment. Trent Grisham, all he does is hit game-tying homers or homers for the lead, but they find a way to erase it all. Let's go back to earlier in the game. Rodon, Jekyll and Hyde, the tale of two Carlos Rodons. He was rolling. He wasn't giving up anything. And then I guess because we had a lead, right? The Yankees put up 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. Stanton, another one back in Miami, hits his first homer as a Yankee in Miami. Rodon, I don't know, man. Rodon is a guy that he's going to start postseason games for the Yankees. He did it last year. He has to do it this year. He's a guy that we're leaning on, but he's got to be able to not give up that 2-run bomb. He's got to be able, I just looked it up. He's given up 19 homers on the year. So even though he was an all-star, it's troublesome. He goes 4 2/3 with 2 hits and gives up 4 runs. And it's just like, dude, you can't walk so many guys. He only had 9 Ks. But when you put us in that spot where we have the lead, Aaron Boone is comfortable doing what? Going to the bullpen. And I hate when I see this guy warming up. Jonathan Loaizaga, hi Ajita. Why? Can we be done with that? You have enough relievers. Can we be done going to Johnny Lowe? Because he doesn't do, and why is he always coming out right after Rodon? Because you guys schedules, because you guys got throw days. Brent Hedrick, good to have him, big lefty. And I think he's definitely going to play a role down the stretch here because the Yankees didn't go get a lefty. But after that, man, Jake Bird, don't shave your beard. You don't have to. Jake Bird shaved his beard because, similar to Ryan McMahon, these guys are coming from Colorado to the Yankees. It's like going from A-ball to the show. So they're all hyped up, right? It's every ball player's dream to put on the pinstripes and play for the Yankees. Not these Yankees. These Yankees find a way. They find a way. And Boone should have found a way last night to stop the bleeding. Boone should have said, okay, it didn't work with Jake Bird, new guy. It didn't work with David Bednar, new guy. My closer is Devin Williams. Have him ready. Have him up. We can't just go out there and die on Camilo Duvall. So I guess they got it out of the way early, folks. I guess they got it out of the way early. I guess that was their, initiation, right? I guess that was their swearing in to this Yankee universe. Lose to the Marlins like that in front of a great crowd. They don't ever put people in there. They had 32,000 plus in there. And you could tell it was full of Yankee fans, but it was also full of Yankee haters. Yankee haters that want to say, trade deadline, get a refund. These guys, they don't play fundamentally sound baseball. Caballero, and don't call me and say that Boone should have put Austin Slater in. I was up last night and people were sending that on Twitter. You should have put Austin Slater. Caballero's got to field that ball. It's a ground ball. It goes through the infield. It's a ground ball. This guy, I don't know what the hell he was on. He completely missed the ball. He was looking up, trying to make the throw. That can't happen. That absolutely can't happen. That's not on Aaron Boone. But what is on Aaron Boone is sticking to the script so much so that you die on your scheduled rest because, you got to give your relievers that have done it for you a break. We want to see the guys that have done it all year with the Yankees. That makes just bad optics that they lose that game behind Caballero, Jake Bird, David Bednar, Camilo Duvall. Those guys' first game as New York Yankees is tainted like that. And it makes all the Yankee fans that don't believe in this team feel like, see, there it is, Boonie Ball. See, there it is. No matter what they do, this is how they play. This is this era of the Yankees. Even these new guys come in and this disease, yeah, they inherit that too. 888-808-1019. I'd rather talk about the Mets. So you guys that are online to talk about the Mets, you're going to get preference. You're going first. But of course, we're going to talk about the Yankees for the next 2 hours leading up into Yankee baseball. It's got to be better. You can't lose that game. 15 hits, 12 runs without Aaron Judge. You got enough talent on the bench in the bullpen to win that game. Don't be stuck on stupid. Don't be stuck on, we're going to pitch these new guys because they need to get work. And I'm like, nah, you can't lose that game. That's embarrassing. I'll hit you guys with some stats and some information. It ain't good. about the Yankees, about where we are. And, we'll talk Mets as well, as both teams look to a race last night. And at 4:10, they get back out there, and we can only hope that they win and don't lose the series today. Keith McPherson on the Fan. It's not KM to AM, KM in the PM, Saturday sauce, whatever you want to call it. Can't wait to talk to you. Call us up at 888-808-1019. We'll be right back.
This city lives and breathes sports. WFAN is where you...
I don't fucking know if I can do that shit. Fuck. Hello. Happy Saturday. Don't let the Yankees kill your vibes on the first weekend of August. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Thanks for pulling up for a little Saturday show. I think the thing that scares me, not even from the new guys, is that the Yankees walk too many hitters. Yeah. 7th in the league in walking hitters. You can't give teams free base runners. What's up, Keith? Let's pretend last night didn't happen. I wish. What's up, Keith? That game was nightmarish last night. Could be the worst collective debut of Yeah. I'm going to say this on air when I get back. Let's hope it's just an omen. Let's hope it's like maybe it's the Yankees year. That can be on the World Series DVD too. No pop. Yeah, talking about Goldie. Josh from the Bronx in here. Caballero pickup might have lit some fire under Volpe. That's what I said. It definitely did. Yup. Like, you're not guaranteed to be out there every day. Sure. Worst debut ever. That's a hot shirt, bro. Yeah. Peep me. So I'm going out there to the Somerset Patriots today to host the like celebration of the Negro Leagues. It's like New York Black Yankees night. Where are the Afrocentric players on the New York Yankees organization? Giancarlo Stanton, Trent Grisham, they're half black. I think that's it. Judge, Stanton, and Grisham are half black. I think that's it. Oh, Hector, you said it before I said it. Now I got to say it on air. Cool, man. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good night, fireworks night. Hopefully they get a win. I'm so excited to go out there and be on the mic and be on the field. I'm blessed that, like, they even invited me back to like be a part of the ceremony. It'll be me, Willie Randolph, and a couple black Yankees, or not black Yankees, one black Yankee, but another former Negro leaguer. I'm gonna come back and make sure I put that out there for people. Okay. Right now, I'm just putting together notes. Trade deadline. Not going to talk about the Giants tonight or today. This is a quick show. I could do this with no notes, but I always over prepare. Yeah, bro, they made me this jersey when I went out there, and then they asked me to come back and host, and I just am like, as a fan of baseball and sports and media, like I can't tell you how blessed I am to have the opportunities that I have. I know it's a product of the work, but it's also from prayer. It's also from the universe and just things lining up for me in a way. Like, I'm very determined and I want more. I'm never satisfied. But when opportunities like a day like this, I just went on my Instagram story. I'm like, I'm so happy to be able to be who I am and share it with people. Like, my story just started. I'm spinning around in here, like, yo, what's up? Saturday show. We'll talk about this. Like I said, I'm not letting the Yankees kill my vibe. And then, like, I'll go home, I'll drive out there, and I get to be on the mic on the field before this game. So it's all positive stuff. And we're back. Yeah, today's a good day, man. The weather is nice. The first weekend in August. I'm not letting the Yankees kill my vibe. They did that last night. Like I said, I'm in the bed at 9 o'clock, and I end up not being able to go to sleep till 12. Even my wife went to sleep. I wasn't really tweeting until my wife went to sleep because, like, trying to spend some time with my wife on a Friday night off. But then when she went to sleep, she kept waking up too. Like, this game's still on, and like, I don't say a word. I just am like, yes. The TV is bright in the room. I am in fear of what is going to happen. And shout out to Morash as I'm on Twitter because I'm like, I try to like jump on Twitter to like interact with people. Sean Morash called it at 9:58. At 9:58, he's like, "Oh, you just know Doval is going to blow this game." Like, yes. And since we all knew that was coming, Aaron Boone has to know, hey, fool me once, fool me twice, can't fool me a third time. Don't go to the new guy. Don't let another guy have a terrible debut. No, they're not. They're down. They're down. I don't know. I got to go to somebody that's worked with Austin Wells before. I got to go to somebody who's worn the jersey before. And also, yes, it's two-pronged. It's twofold. It's not just Aaron Boone, but Aaron Boone, you're the manager. What I'm saying is you're under a microscope. Like, Cashman did his job. He stacked the deck this year. Everybody's going to be looking at you the same way they looked at you with the decisions in the World Series. Like, they're going to be looking at you. Every single decision now is going to be amplified. I literally had people messaging me, like, saying, I heard Big Mac saying, Caballeros played 200 innings. I had people saying Slater should have been in the game. The same people that are saying he shouldn't be on the team, that we don't need Austin Slater. Who the hell is Austin Slater? Slater should have been in the game. Sure. And you got to feel that 10 times out of 10. I don't know what he was doing or thinking, what he was on. But hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Sometimes you can get into the game and do some things that in hindsight we're like, man, you did not have to do that. It's an L. They find a way to lose. But again, it's one game. You got to flush it. And you know what? Shout out to Mike in the chat. He said that was nightmarish last night. Could be the worst collective debut of multiple players in the same game. Well, they can't have another debut. It's done. And as much as we talk about World Series DVDs that don't exist, but they do put together films on the season, that can be in the film too. Well, the New York Yankees, I wish I could do John Sterling's voice, like John Sterling on Yankeeography. In the 2025 Yankees season, Brian Cashman built a new bullpen. And on their first night out in Miami, they all failed. But the Yankees would go on to, like, it can be something that is just a small page in this whole thing, but they got to go out there today against Yuri Perez with rookie Cam Schlittler on the mound and hit and take this game. If not, they lose this series, and we're all looking at them like, we don't believe in you. We don't believe you. You need more people. Let's start with Dan in Manhattan, and then we will get to the Mets fans. What's up, Dan?
Don't know. His final game was Wednesday night, August 1st, in 79, of course, against the White Sox in Chicago. What position did he play?
Well, he wasn't at catcher, right? If it's a question, was he at first?
Yes, first base.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing is, his body had taken severe beating over the years. His offensive skills that season had severely declined. I was looking at his numbers. He had, I think, 6 home. The season was already like 2/3 over. He had like 6 home runs and 39 RBIs. But his batting average is okay, like around 280, and on base percentage around 360. But the thing is, his offense, his home runs and RBIs had severely declined, and he couldn't catch anymore. So the Yankees tried him at different positions. They couldn't put him at DH because Cliff Johnson was the full-time DH and it was the power of that. They didn't want to take him out of the lineup, so they tried different positions. They tried him, I think, at third base and left field, and they tried him at first base, but nothing really worked. What was an interesting thing, though, if that crash had never happened, if his career had continued, the end of the season, there were 2 possibilities. Either he just retires, he's done, or Steinbrenner trades him to the Indians. He wanted to go back home. Another possibility is if he stayed with the Yankees in 1980, he could have become the full-time DH because Cliff Johnson, I don't believe, was signed for 1980. So just things to think about there. But yeah, it's just a shame. He had taken such a beating over the years. He just couldn't catch anymore. So they had tried him at all these different positions. Nothing worked. He just didn't have the agility to play in the field.
Thanks for the call, Dan. Thanks for the trivia, the info. Definitely for the younger listeners that listen to this show that, we have no idea. We did not grow up in that time. We weren't alive. It was a long time ago. And shout out to the Thurman Munson group, the Thurman Munson Hall of Fame group that show up to the stadium wearing 15, that are still campaigning, to get Thurman Munson into, the Hall of Fame. I remember I did the gala with these guys and man, they do such a great presentation. I remember talking to Lon Tross with the Yankees and saying, hey, can you help these guys out? He's like, if I could, I would. Like the Errors Committee has to, make that happen. And it just seems the further we get away from it, it might not go down. But Thurman Munson should be a Hall of Famer, and definitely in Yankee lore and Yankee history, someone that all you young guys should know about. 888-808-1019. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about the Mets, as I did put the Mets out there. David Peterson goes out there. SNY Mets reports David Peterson goes 6 or more innings for the 7th time in his last 10 starts. Peterson is the only Mets starter to go 6 or more innings in a start since June 11th. You got to win those games. John is in Middletown on the Fan next. What's up, John?
I don't. But this is similar to with the Yankees. Well, Stearns goes out and gets all the relievers, so the bullpen's really strong. We lose 2-0 in the 7th inning, and he brings in Static, and he gives him another run. It's 3-0. He didn't bring any new relievers yet. The 7th inning comes. Peter Alonso goes up, hits a home run. It's 3-1. Now McNeil gets a double. Who comes up with Tyrone Taylor? He doesn't even pinch hit for him.
Yeah.
Nothing back.
Yeah, Cedric Mullins came in a little too late.
Yeah, the next inning, he pinch hits with Vientos, with Beatty, and he pinch hits for Marte. What the hell is he thinking?
Just trying to get something going, shaking up the lineup,
Beatty's garbage. And Tyrone Taylor's not even a major league player. He can't hit the beach ball with a telephone pole. He should be DFA'd. He can't play. He's not a baseball player. He's garbage.
See what? Obviously the left-handed bat of Cedric Mullins. Maybe they were also trying to give him ease him into his first game and go with Tyrone Taylor, not throw him into the fire right away.
You can't have Tyrone Taylor up men have scoring position. He's an automatic out.
Yeah, he's got the lowest batting average and lowest OPS on the team. Thanks for the call, John. And I think you should be done with Tyrone Taylor. But Mendoza, Boone, these guys, modern day baseball, they play matchups, numbers, analytics. They're going to go with the right-handed bat there. I don't know. I'm not going to try and justify it. Cedric Mullins is a better player. You just got him at the deadline. He should be in the game, and he's in the game today. Let's go to Mike in Babylon on the Fan. What's up, Mike?
This is Bob Myrash. Is Sean there?
Anyway, I know, Paul. Paul's like, I dumped him. Well, if you didn't hit the button, I was hitting the button and resetting. Anyway, the Mets offense got to be better. They were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That has pained them the entire year. They left 9 on base. When you get lower into that lineup, there is absolutely nothing. They need to change the lineup. I remember listening to Evan and Tiki, and I forget what Tommy called it, but like they wanted to have the lineup where, your top guys are spread out more. I don't know. Something's got to give. I think today is a different day, quick turnaround, a day game. You need Kodai Senga to go out there and do his thing. Kaiwei Tang on the mound for the Giants. The Giants are fighting for their lives. If they're trying to, steal the last wild card or whatever, they need these games. So we'll get back to the Yankee calls because I know you guys want to have at it. We haven't taken one yet. We talked Thurman Munson. I took my 2 Mets calls. One was a Mets call. The other was a troll call. Let's go to Eddie in Fairfield and hear what Eddie has to say about the Yanks.
Yo, what up, Keith?
Yo, what up?
Yo, yeah, I mean, first off, we got to be positive. I know it's a nightmare of a game, and I know as an athlete, I played lacrosse in high school and college. We've been in those moments where like everything that could go wrong ends up happening and going wrong. It's just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things like it's meant to be. Things happen like that as much as you don't want them to, and maybe this will work. This guy will get us out, but it just for some reason doesn't work out like that. I know. But besides Boone's, pitching decisions, I don't know what his, right-hand man, Brad is doing there in the dugout. He's got to be spoken to. There's got to be some feedback from those coaches, or from Matt Blake.
Matt Blake he did use some mound visit. I know he popped down and talked to Jake Bird.
Yeah. But talking to Boone, though, it's got to be like someone's got to be like, Boone, are you thinking of doing this? Like, maybe we shouldn't. And, I don't know if they're doing that or they're just trusting Boone's decision to just make that call right away.
They're watching the car crash. They're watching the car crash. They're watching these guys not be able to get outs, not be able to throw strikes. And not for nothing, because I have it in my notes, the umpire, Chris Siegel, missed a season-high 29 calls in the game last night. Some obviously went against the Yankees. Some helped the Yankees. But, ABS, ASAP, we need the automatic balls and strike system now.
Right. One more thing, too. Pitching, I'm positive, though, that things will get better in terms of that. There must have been some nerves, too, to switching teams right away, getting thrown in this big-time game. But
pressure.
In looking at the hitting, though, look, we got the last 7 games, looking at stats. You got Jazz with 11 strikeouts, Goldie with 11 strikeouts. You got 5 at-bats. He had 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Goldie had 3 strikeouts. That's the middle of the order right there. We got these guys that have, both of them have 1 RBI in the last week. So, we got 2 for 21 from Goldie and a 5 for 28 from Jazz. So people can talk all they want about all pitching Boone's decisions, but we got these guys that they're just not hitting in the middle of the lineup when you got the top 3 guys, Grisham, Dominguez, Belly. Of course, Stanton and the 4, they're all hitting. Volpe's hitting at the bottom with McMahon, but the middle that would have been, I think, the time that the Yankees could have needed the hitting more than anything because the stats are all there. 42 at bats. He had 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. The Miami Marlins, had more strikeouts, but they had more walks, obviously.
Way too many walks last night, giving it to them, giving them opportunities. And they have a team that runs and is scrappy, and like you can't gift them base runners.
Right. But, that game's over. So, Judge, the Yankees got to just look, it happened. We got this. There's no need to panic. And all these fans got to just pump the brakes and just chill.
Thanks for the call, Eddie. Now let's say like this, loud and clear. Obviously, it's one game. For the fans that are saying, oh, these guys suck, they don't suck. For the fans that are saying that these pitchers that we got are not going to be any good, no, that was a pressure-filled situation, their first time out. But you got to know that. That's what I'm saying. You got to know that as the manager, as the coaching staff. Understand, hey, this isn't working. Jake Bird didn't work. Bednar, it didn't work. Like, are we going to keep going with the plan to play all these new guys, to pitch all these new guys? Stop the bleeding. You scored too many runs. And, like, I can't be so mad about, Goldie striking out 3 times. Jazz's at-bats have been terrible. And I know Jazz being back in Miami, he wants to get something done, too. He had 1 hit. But some of the stuff he's swinging at, just not it. But, Grisham, 2 hits, 3 ribbies. Dominguez, 3 hits, 4 times on base. Dominguez, as much as we want to compliment Dominguez, and he did make some plays in the outfield last night, like little things like Dominguez catching the ball and not knowing where to go with it, throwing the ball to Volpe at third, and then the runner advances to second. What are we doing? What are we doing? That's what makes you just furious. Little things that I'm thinking about now. When McMahon and Wells are going into foul territory and they almost collide and that ball pops off of Wells's glove, let McMahon get it. This guy's been stellar with his glove. Let McMahon go get it. I don't know, man. And Volpe, like I said, the one that went over Volpe's head or went over Bednar's head, it's a tough play. Volpe can't make it, but then he comes back and, he rushes the play and the throw, but like he comes back and he homers. He hits the silencer, Sully. But yeah, I let's say this loud and clear. It's 1 game, but it didn't surprise you because this is what the Yankees been doing all year. Frank is in Syosset on the Fan. What's up, Frank?
Yeah, hey Keith, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Hope the kid's good, the family's good. I remember Thurman also. Great player, family guy, good father. Had no business flying the type of aircraft that he attempted to fly, they say. But my memories of that was Howard Cosell and Reggie crying in the outfield, and nobody at home plate. Sad. I'll never forget Thurman. But as far as last night goes, Keith, I thought it was a great ball game. I was happy to see the fight in the Yankees, that they didn't just fold. Kevin Yerry just committed an error in right field. I wanted to bring the last play of the game to you. I thought that was fundamentally flawed. You have a guy on third who's fast. I don't think that's the catcher's business going out to get that bunt. I thought that was the pitcher's ball.
They bring the infield in. I was hearing Big Mac talk about it. How crazy was that? That who was it? Edwards, the play before, the pitch before, he ran all the way home and had to go back. And it was kind of like foreshadowing, like, hey, they could win this game. They could walk this off like that. A little dribbler right there, and there's no one there to protect home plate. And this guy's fast. I don't know. Even if he was there, who knows if they're able to make that play? It's tough. Shouldn't have came down to that. Right.
Yeah, I remember last week, I think it was, you talking about, it's not enough just to put on the pinstripes and take it for granted that you're going to win.
These guys want to beat you. You're getting everybody's best shot. That's the most people they've put in that building all year. Those young Marlins, they want to win. They want to be talked about. They want to feel what it feels like to beat the big bad Yankees, and they gave their best shot and they pulled it off.
Yeah, I was getting at. I wanted to ask you if you heard Tiki's question to Cashman yesterday about does anybody get on Volpe for his defense, and Cashman said, "Well, the fans do, and the media does."
Yeah, and he hears it, and everybody he knows it. And I don't know. I heard him say, there's no option to send him down. There was no option to bench him. But now they put an option in the room. Thanks for the call, Frank. And I said, hey, demon time. I turned him into the bad guy. Oh, you traded for a shortstop to potentially sit me down? Good, man. You need that. Athletes need that. Like, if you have any pride, if you have any confidence in yourself, you need to be challenged. Sometimes if you're just going through the motions, and resting on, I'm good. And, I've heard Volpe say, I know what I'm capable of. He showed us last night. And I think it is a combination of things. One, getting away from Yankee Stadium. I don't think they were booing him in Marlins Park. Two, Caballero being in the clubhouse, being on the bus, being with it, knowing, hey, this guy's a shortstop. And if I don't get it done, they could sit me down. My name might not be in the lineup, as I'm still waiting for the Yankees lineup to come out. MLB doesn't have it as I'm refreshing. Let me keep an eye on Twitter for that. I think, Volpe, we saw him go bad last night and in a good way. Go bad, go villain. When he hit that home run and tossed the bat and then looked at the dugout and then I'm like, I never seen him move like this. He went from being a nice little kid to being like, yo, I know what I'm capable of. I know I'm like that. And he had a big night. They wasted it. He had a big night. They wasted it. Okay, so we do have the first one of the reporters is in the clubhouse to go and put out the Yankee lineup because it's not on MLB. And I'm like, what's the holdup here? What are they thinking about? What are they going over? You said Eric Bolin has it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Eric Bolin. Shout out to Eric Bolin. Eric Bolin has joined me. I remember when they put me on with, Justin Shackle to call the game. He wrote something up as like, WFAN tabs a super fan to sit in for Susan Waldman. I'm like, why am I a super fan? What, like I'm like a mascot? Am I blocked?
I consider you a super fan, by the way. You're a huge fan of the Yankees. I think that's a compliment.
No, I took it as a compliment.
Yeah.
I think I put out like a Superman meme or something. I think if you actually go back to like MLB Fan Cave, MLB Network, only because I'm a fan, Bleacher Creature, Roll Call, blah, 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 bunch of games, Yankee podcasts. Like, I'm not a reporter. I'm not an announcer either. I never did play-by-play broadcast. Anyway, no one cares. Here's the lineup. Today's Yankees lineup, because Eric Bolin is first in the clubhouse to see it up there on the wall. Leading off and playing center field again, Trent Grisham. Jason Dominguez batting second in left field again. In right field, Cody Bellinger will bat third. The DH will be Giancarlo Stanton, back where he won MVP in Miami, batting cleanup. Jazz Chisholm right there batting fifth, playing second base. Benny Blanco Arroz. Benny Rice will do the catching, batting sixth. Paul Goldschmidt is down, batting seventh, but playing first base. Ryan, that man, McMahon at third base, batting eighth. Anthony Volpe batting ninth, playing shortstop. Cam Schlittler, the pitcher, need a big night or big day out of him tonight. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You can't lose this game, because then it's going to get bad. Then it won't be just one game. It'll be you drop the series and look where we are in the standings. I think I heard my guy Gary in Waterbury call up and say if they just for one day fall below the Boston Red Sox in the standings, like unacceptable. The Red Sox have owned the Yankees this year. You guys forgot about that? That doesn't mean anything. Richard is in Manhattan on the Fan. What's up, Rich?
Hi, Keith.
Yes.
I hope he makes less than $1 million a year.
Yeah, 879.
Soto makes $40 million a year.
Here it goes. First mention of Juan Soto's money. Yep.
Volpe has 60 RBIs. Soto has 63. I'm asking you, Keith.
Yeah.
Who's more cost effective if you're running a business?
Well, you forgot to mention the errors. How many errors? Volpe's got 16
No, I'm just
errors.
mentioning this. One
know.
thing. Let's not spread the question.
No,
Who's more cost efficient?
Oh, it's Volpe. I mean,
Okay,
what
gotcha.
Volpe makes in
All
a
right.
year, Soto makes in a series. I've
There
done
you
this
go.
dance
Okay.
on WFA.
Tigers Phillies yesterday. What a game. And if we had that World Series, I'll sign up for that over Yankees Mets. Old baseball teams, great teams. What a game yesterday. That was the game of the night. Ben Simmons coming in the Knicks. I love it. Do you know, Keith? Maybe you do. In 1973, the Knicks won a championship with two guys, not one, two Ben Simmons. Two. One white guy and one black guy.
Yeah.
Two guys named Phil Jackson and Dean Meminger.
Okay.
Both of them were Ben Simmons. Did exactly what Ben Simmons did. They can win with Ben Simmons now, so they better sign him. I love Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
I love his.
All I said about Ben Simmons is like he's not going to be the same version of himself he was for the Brooklyn Nets. Because
Okay, whatever he does, he does for us.
He'll be better because the Knicks fans will hold him accountable.
Long arms, great, gets in the way, can handle the ball. Okay, Boone. You know what Boone did last night? He did the opposite of Thibodeau. Thibodeau went along with his old guys, his tried and true guys, his veteran guys, the guys he knows. Boone did the opposite and got burned.
Yeah.
So, you can't win one way or another. One way or another, you're going to get
the new New York Yankees. Go ahead and lose the game for us. Thanks for the call, Richard. Ben Simmons. My take on Ben Simmons is that Ben Simmons has been around New York. He's been here long enough. He's been in Brooklyn. And he'll, potentially rejoin Mikal Bridges, who wanted to get out of Brooklyn and go to the A team, the Knicks, and coming off the bench. And obviously with Mikal Bridges signing, I talked about him the other night, and he took a little bit less to, help that second apron. Ben Simmons signs for the minimum.
he will be solid off the bench. I bet you with this Knicks team and Mike Brown as the coach, he won't be the bum that he was. He won't try. He could get that off in Brooklyn. He could get that off in Brooklyn with Jacques Vaughn. He could get that off in Brooklyn where, if he got a eyelash in his eye, he was coming out of the game, and then you wouldn't hear from him again for weeks. He was all about his fashion. He's done enough shopping. He's been on Fifth Avenue for a couple years. He's not going to be the he knows this is the end of the road, too. If the Knicks were to sign Ben Simmons, you would get somebody that can handle the ball, somebody that can defend. Obviously, he can't shoot, but that doesn't mean he can't score. He's got size. I think Ben Simmons would be worth it. I think and as a Knick, I know you Knick fans would hold him accountable, where in Madison Square Garden, he would not want to be sitting in street clothes on that bench because he'd be hearing it all night. He'd be suited up. He'd be ready to play his little part, and you would only need him for 10 minutes a night max. 888-808-1019. We got to break it down. 1 hour down, like 90 minutes to go. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll be right back.
It's Evan and Tiki, afternoons on the Fan 101.9 FM.
So the Yankees were able to not trade top-end prospects, at least ones that aren't ranked very high, because you never know what the next few years are going to look like. And they were able to
6 different players, 5 of the 6.
Yo, what's going on? Just That's what I tried to say, bro. They beat the Royals. They beat the Padres. They beat the Brewers. Like, they're not bums. They're not bums. They're not bums. All right, let me cook up. Jonathan Loizaga sucks. Brent Hedrick, fine. But Jake Bird got 1 out, gave up 4 runs and 21 pitches. I'm going to go, but we'll talk about this. The Yankees, first loss when scoring 12 runs since 1996. They all blew it. Got that out of the way. Let me see. Some of the other stuff does not matter. Let's see. Some of the notes that I had from the trade deadline. We're not going to talk about that. Like Marcus Stroman, not even worth the conversation today. I had a Marcus Stroman tweet that blew up. And I just think because people are dense. They're just mad dumb. They don't understand things. What else have I not mentioned yet? I gotta, when I come back, I gotta mention I'll be at the Somerset Patriots game. I do want to comment on Marcus Stroman. Do you think the Yankees will win record or losing record? Winning record. Winning record. Play stupid games, win some stupid ass prizes. Facts. Yo, that's something too. I'm starring that. Yes Network showed us the stats. How come the Yankees didn't have those stats? How come the Yankees didn't have those stats? I'm going back to my notes. The Yes Network flashed that Bednar had given up 7 runs in 8 innings. How come the Yankees didn't know that? In Marlins Park, specifically. Where is it? Secret gets on, Martian gets on, back, stand back in Miami, laser beam, the great already told me that was it. McMahon makes another play. Give up a grand slam. Yeah, I'm not an expert on anything. What else do you think you are, Keith? Who do you think you are? I'm not an expert on anything. I get paid to do this, though. Glenn R. Soto poops on Volpe. Okay. He's for what Soto's getting paid, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about, return on investment. Do I think they're going to win a championship anytime soon? No. But I'm not getting off the ride. I don't think they're winning the World Series this year, but I thought that as soon as Cole went down. Oh, yeah. Saturday. Vibing on the Fan, the first Saturday of August. Not going to let the Yankees kill my vibe. We are counting down. We got 2 hours until the Yankees and the Mets get back on the field and try to erase last night. Disappointing. It's disappointing. They both lose by a run, but in two completely different ways. And you're scratching your head about a lot of different things. You're kind of looking around and saying, hey, what goes on, right? For the Mets, I saw Sleeper Mets, and shout out to Sleeper Mets. I know you guys are big Keith McPherson fans by your tweets and whatnot. Or I think it might be one guy, but Sleeper Mets writes, the Mets Fab Four over their last 20 games, Brandon Nimmo is 19 for 76. That's a 250 batting average, 1 homer, 8 ribbies. He's got a 704 OPS. Francisco Lindor is 16 for 87. That's a 184 batting average, 3 homers, 12 ribbies, a 550 OPS. Pete Alonso is 8 for 70, a 114 batting average, 3 homers, 10 ribbies, a 464 OPS. Juan Soto is 12 for 71, a 169 batting average, 4 homers, 13 ribbies, a 658 OPS. And they wrote, this is a brutal stretch from the Mets' top hitters. Jeff is in Oceanside on the Fan next. What's up, Jeff? Good. How are you? Thanks for the call. I'll say this, and I'm just going to move the pace along because this show will be over in an hour and 40 minutes. We don't no grace for Juan Soto. He got hit by a pitch last night. He fouled the ball off himself. Maybe he's hurt. No grace for him. Maybe having a little bit of a swollen foot. No, you got to produce when you're getting paid that much. And you know why he got paid that much. You have the richest owner in the sport. You know why he got paid that much. You had to outbid the Yankees. You overpaid for the player because there was more that came with that, right? The Met fans celebrated that as if that was the World Series. Taking Juan Soto from the Yankees was worth every dollar. Juan Soto turned it on in June. And what did I tell you? That was his push to be an all-star because Juan Soto cares about himself. Juan Soto turned it on in June, not so much in July. You pay him the big bucks, but he's going to have a down year when it's all said and done. He's not going to duplicate what he did last year with the Yankees. Yeah, but you got 14 years as a Met. So, what does that have to do with you winning and him coming through in the clutch? Not by himself. Gleyber Torres, Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, but see, that's the thought. And that's what I say too. Get Juan Soto to October because that's when his heartbeat slows down while everybody else is like, oh, it's a big moment. And Juan Soto he's the same. He's a robot. I've seen it. He's a cyborg. So you can't get too frustrated. He's going to have his moments. He's going to hit his home runs. And it ain't just him. What about Pete Alonso? Pete Alonso's the guy you paid $30 million to have come back this year. He's going to opt out. All that conversation around him being a forever Met, obviously he's chasing Darryl Strawberry's record. He's very close. That's going to happen this month of August in front of the Met crowd. You need him to come through. Lindor's another one. Good thing you didn't give him the captaincy when David Wright was here. He didn't. Maybe that would have helped him. Maybe he's having a little bit of a hangover from that. I was saying hey, maybe he thought he was about to be the next Met captain, and that's stuck in his head. It is one game. Football mindset. Shake up the lineup again, right? Nimmo's back leading off. I don't know. Shake up the lineup again. Pitching wise, though, you guys interested in Marcus Stroman? While I have you need pitching. Marcus Stroman's a New Yorker. He's available. Second tour. No. The Braves will definitely bring him in. They brought Carlos Carrasco in. Yeah, so I had a tweet blow up yesterday, and I love when you guys blow up tweets like that because my Twitter is monetized. I have 41,000.3 followers. So what people don't realize is they think they're trolling or getting at me. I get direct deposits from Twitter now. So I appreciate it. But when the news came out that Marcus Stroman was released, I am a wordsmith. I am always looking for plays on words and stuff like that. Twitter is a written platform. Some of you can't succeed on Twitter because you don't write well enough. So when I saw that, I saw the Yankees have released Marcus Stroman. I quoted it and I said, didn't add a starter, subtracted one. That tweet reached 2,600 people, 266,000 people. It's got almost 1,000 likes, 27 retweets, quote tweets, and 246 replies. And what I found was people were killing me saying, this guy, what is this? This guy doesn't know ball. Like Marcus Stroman sucks. Look at this clown defending Marcus Stroman. I'm like, what? So I responded. I'm like, some of y'all are dense. You think this is like Cashman criticism? F no. Stroman can go. Heels back Sunday. Yarby eventually. Let's ride. Like somebody had to go. And it's not going to be Cam Schlittler. But yo, can I say this about Stroman? Aaron Boone yesterday said, the public perception around Stroh for us did not meet the guy we got to be around for the last couple years. He's an awesome competitor. I feel like he's a guy I'll stay in touch with for the rest of our lives. People hate Marcus Stroman. He's such a polarizing figure. And obviously some of the stuff he brought on himself from things he said, things he's done in the media, whatever. But like, that's how I know this guy's got power. I'm like, and maybe I got some power too. I'm like, that tweet blew up like that. People are, oh, you're doing this for clout. I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything for clout. I use the Twitter machine. I'm a media member. It's social media. And like I said, I'm getting paid for it. My account is monetized. So I guess thanks. But I don't know. I didn't know that was such a hot button topic. Like Cam Schlittler is in the rotation. He's needed. And I know there's a thought that maybe him or Will Warren get sent down. Why? Marcus Stroman wasn't even supposed to be on the team. Hello? We thought he was going to be traded in the offseason. And then as soon as they could shut him down, they shut him down. We got some good use out of him, right? He pitched well in Atlanta. That's why I think the Braves are going to be on the phone. Hey, come down here. We need some help. I was at the game he pitched against the A's. You know, he was moving in the right direction against Tampa for 3 innings, and then it blew up. And then we heard that the Yankees were trying to shop him. Then we heard that some people were interested. But then that 4th inning, hours before the trade deadline, they're like, this guy's nibbling. He's got no velocity. He's 34. He's been in the league 10 years. He's cooked. He's 5'9". Like he has to be all that. You gotta have confidence out there. I talked about Anthony Volpe. I see Anthony Volpe has he is like he went to hell and back. It's like he came back as this demon version of himself. Dark Volpe. Like you. Oh, yeah. I said that. He can do it. Routine. He did the whole game. Volpe ended up having 4 hits, that leadoff knock that, you know, in that inning, man, things were going good. I'm sitting in the bed. I'm barely keeping my eyes open. Leadoff knock. Wells follows it up. Redemption for him getting in the way and not making that play, which, you know, no harm, no foul with Hedrick on the mound and him and McMahon. I don't know. If I'm watching McMahon play and I'm the catcher and I see McMahon is coming, hey, this guy's going to catch that ball 10 times out of 10, whatever. But, you know, Volpe was, you know, hustling off the single to third, and then Trent Grisham, 3-run bomb, and you're feeling good about things. But then, you know, later in that game, Bednar on the mound, and that ball goes over. You know what? Before we get back to the phones too, I'm watching, and Yes Network, they are very good. I know you guys think SNY is the greatest thing ever, but Yes Network is very good as well. They flashed a stat that said David Bednar has given up 7 runs in 8 innings pitched at Lone Depot Park. And I'm like, okay, which now that turned into like 9. But like, if Yes Network has those numbers for us live in the game, the Yankees are supposed to be so analytical. Did those numbers not come into play with their decision to have him in that game? This guy has struggled in Marlins Park. You didn't know that? No, because you decided scheduled rest for our guys. David Bednar is going to pitch tonight. These guys have been on the shelf. They've been inactive. We're going to rip these new toys out of the plastic. We're going to go Jake Bird, Bednar, Doval, no matter what. Diego's in East Meadow on the Fan next. What's up, Diego?
Keep it real. But to me, watching this team over the last 3 years, last night was the nail in the coffin, because no matter what Cashman does, no matter who he brings in, they can score 12, 13, 14 runs. They can pitch a no-hitter. The new Yankees find a way to lose. And I think earlier in the year you said, like, this is not a World Series team. Like, last night it hit me. Like, this is not. Like, the season's over. Let's just move on and figure out what we're going to do next year.
Thanks for the call, Diego. As much as I don't think this is a World Series winning team, I don't know that. I didn't think the Texas Rangers were a World Series winning team. I have been honest. I don't think the Mets or the Yankees are winning the World Series. I'm not the type of host that's going to come in here and cook up the Subway Series. Where I'm being honest with you. Like, they both have flaws where, like, your flaws are magnified in the postseason. And did they address some of them at the deadline? Sure. But, like, okay, with the Yankees, I'm saying you have the horses in the stable now. You built a bench. You built a bullpen. Aaron Boone still has to manage the team, and they got to go out there and execute, and they're allergic to executing. They don't play a clean game. They don't. They're going to find a way, whether it's throwing it to the wrong guy, whether it's not, giving extra outs, walking the ballpark, wrong decisions out of the bullpen, or putting a guy in right field that just literally runs past the ball and can't field the ball. They're going to find a way to lose. And same thing with the Mets. As much money as the Mets have paid Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, and Pete Alonso, the return on investment that they're getting is not good enough. And you just have to hope. Hope is not a strategy. You have to hope that these guys just turn it on the rest of the way down the stretch in the postseason. Like, that's not a good, reassuring feeling on top of not having the starting pitching. The Mets did not add a starter. So will you see some of your young prospects come up? Yeah, but they're not making starts for you in the postseason. What damned the Mets last year in the postseason? When they're getting rocked 8-0 against the Dodgers, you don't have the starting pitching. Your bullpen is better, yeah, but if your starters can't get past the 4th, 5th, 6th inning and they're giving up runs, like other teams that you're going to meet in October have strong bullpens too. Look at the Padres. You guys see Mason Miller last night? Lou is in Astoria on the Fan. What's up, Lou?
Hey, Steve. Keith, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you? Happy Saturday to you. Welcome to August.
Same to you. Just remembering Munson, what a player he was. Just the type of player that we need today. But, he was patient at the plate. He didn't strike out that much. He made contact. He was a hustler. And, even though he didn't steal bases, but he was the type of player that I'm used to, okay? And I don't know if you remember, but Mercer, Bobby Mercer, the day that he passed away, he had a game in his life. It was like a movie.
Yes.
Comebacks after comebacks, and he won that game for Munson, okay? He dedicated to him from the beginning, and that's what happened. Now, as far as the Yankees is concerned right now, this is the thing that I say, no patience, no contact. I mean, everybody strike out, launch angles. That's a problem. It has to be fixed sooner or later, I know, in the minor league or whatever it takes. But right now, I'm telling you right now, Boone was not at fault last night because you know what? He was giving 4 closers, okay? They couldn't get the job done. They put a guy.
We only saw 2 of those 4 closers, though. The other 2 were on the shelf for whatever reason. I know they needed rest, but I don't know if I'm going to keep going out with new guys and the new stuff ain't working. Go back to the tools you've been using the whole season.
Keith, the GM just made a deal. Those guys got to play, okay? He works for Cashman, which I wish both of them were gone already. You got to take that in consideration. You got to listen to your ball, okay? That's what it's all about. Now, as far as the dress code, you're talking about, you're making excuses against the guy shaved his beard, that he couldn't pitch well. You know what? Even though the guy Williams, who and you take credit for the tradition or the dress code, that guy's not going to be that. 90% of the Yankees right now, they still you're going with the tradition with the dress code. So I don't know what you're making.
Lou, thanks for the call, Lou. I don't need to bang the phone on you. 1, it's not a dress code. It's the beard policy. 2, I don't take credit for it. But I did have a tweet reach 1 million people talking about, look at Devin Williams, who we've seen for 6 years in Major League Baseball have a beard and, I had a stance on it, and I definitely got on WFA, and I talk about how these guys paint their nails. I talked about how these guys color their hair. I talked about how these guys do a lot of different things. Letting these grown men have beards isn't a big deal, and it isn't now. But, like, okay, when you see a new Yankee...
The McPherson rule is what we're going to call it.
No, it's not. It has not. You can't put it on me. I can't even grow a beard myself, straight up. Like, it has nothing to do with me. But like I said, I use my, Twitter machine, and I put out a tweet that got a lot of people talking. But I don't think Hal Steinbrenner or Brian Cashman or any of them were like, hey, did you see Keith McPherson's Twitter? He's got 1 million views on this tweet about Devin Williams shaving. It was time. It was almost 50 years. And they went back and talked to other Yankees, and they talked to the team. And it's like, yo, you look good, you play good. You play good, they pay good. And with that airbender, what we wanted for Devin Williams, we haven't exactly gotten this year. Let the guy have a beard. They let him grow his beard back. And whatever. The beards don't matter. The performance matters. Last night, the Yankees bullpen went out there, 3 2/3 innings pitched. They gave up 11 hits, 9 runs, 2 walks. They combined for 3 strikeouts. Loizaga is trash. I'm telling you, I can't do it anymore. Like, Loizaga can be the next casualty. You can cut him. He can go. DFA him. When Loizaga comes, I'm like, why does he have to be the option after Rodon? No, it always goes from worse to worse, from bad to worse. Like Rodon comes out of the game. Here comes Loizaga warming up. Jonathan Loizaga, hi Ajita. I don't, enough. Learn from your mistakes. Enough. Stop trying to make Jonathan Loizaga a thing. His best days are behind him. He's not it anymore. Like, what did he do? Didn't he come in? Let me go back to my note. He came in, I think it was a hit by pitch. It doesn't matter. What matters is, like, that game unraveled, and I felt like there was a point where they could have stopped the bleeding. Between Jake Bird, David Bednar, and Camilo Doval making their debuts, there was a point where you stop the bleeding and you say, let's go to somebody out of the bullpen to get these outs, whether it's Weaver, whether it's Devin Williams, but they decided to say, no, we're going to go with these new guys because, like Lou said, you got to listen to your boss. Your boss added these new guys that hadn't pitched, needed to get some work. They died on their scheduled rest. They died on their script, and they allowed that to happen. And I don't know, if you're telling me on Thursday that Devin Williams is your closer, I'm going to call on my closer to get up and get those. Hey, Edwin Diaz, go do it. And I know it's not a great time to mention Edwin Diaz, but at the same time, like, your closer is your closer. You told us the closer's the closer, but then Camilo Doval's first outing, he's your closer, and you lose like that with him on the mound. 888-808-1009. It is what it is. It's one game, but that's another thing I got to remind you folks too. Us talk show hosts, whether it's Daniel McCartan coming on after the game last night, or it's Pete Hoffman, who I listened to a little bit, and C-Mac today, what do you want us to do? We cannot do shows where we just say, whatever, it's one game. We are doing shows in the moment, and all we have to go off of is that game. You want me to go back to the Tampa series and tell you about how great it was to win 3 games in a row and take that series? Nobody cares anymore. They care about what happened last night. So we were talking about all the little things in that game, right? The Yankees are doing things that are good. They're stealing bases. The Yankees are doing things that are good. Multiple guys getting on base. Multiple guys hitting. A guy like Anthony Volpe having the best game of the season, but at the same time, they erase it with the loss. Ted is in Hewlett, New York on the Fan next. What's up, Ted?
Keith, I happen to think that you are absolutely awesome, and I'm really enjoying listening. It actually took a very long time for me to get on, which is fine because I just love listening to you. So, and I really agree with a lot of what you say. I have a couple of quick questions, a couple of quick comments. First,
well, thanks. Yeah, and go for it.
I love to call in. Yeah. So I like to call into the Fan every couple of weeks, and a good friend of mine, this guy Jeff, he doesn't call in, but he is always bugging me about talking about how Cashman has to go. So my question is, everybody before the game last night was like, Cashman's done a great job. So here's my question. All these guys, all the new guys, all lost a game that easily should have been won. Is this the fact that Cashman didn't do such a great job with these new guys?
No.
Or is it just that the new guys have to get used to being on the team and it's an aberration?
You know what? This was a sacrifice to the baseball gods. I believe in the baseball gods. Here's another Keith McPherson talking about himself moment. I spent a year in the MLB fan cave. I watched a season in New York where you can't leave from first pitch to last out. And the joke was these 8 fans are sacrificing a summer to the baseball gods. It turned out pretty good for me. I felt like last night was a sacrifice to the baseball gods. I felt like the baseball gods were like, okay, you guys rebuilt your bullpen. You guys think that this is going to help you get to the World Series again? Okay, let's see how it works out, because you can't predict baseball, and that is baseball, Susan. So they go out there and they're terrible. The first time out. We got it out of the way. The first time out, they all contributed to losing. It was like an initiation to Yankee baseball. Like, these guys can suck too. These guys can look like Scott Efros. These guys can look like Alan Winans. You know what I'm saying? These guys could look like Jonathan Loizaga was in there. And you got it out of the way. Do I think they're going to be terrible? No. They all have good stuff. We didn't see it last night. We did see a little bit of it. They all do have some good pitches in their arsenal, but the pressure got to them last night, and they all folded, and the Yankees find a way to lose after scoring 12 runs. Since 1996, there was a stat that they put up. That hadn't happened since 1996. Since I was in first grade. The Yankees' first loss since scoring 12 or more runs since August 18th, 1996.
Wow. So, Keith, I love what you just said. It just made me think of something. You know what's great about all of them doing so poorly? Nobody has to feel that bad about themselves other than Caballeros, who didn't look down at the ball. You learn in Little League. Look down at the ball when you catch it.
I couldn't believe it.
If you watch the replay, his head was up. It never looked down at the ball. But all the other pitchers, all of them don't have to feel that bad because they all did poorly. So hopefully it makes it easier for them psychologically to snap back after one game.
It's one of those weird baseball things.
Right? So, and then I just got a comment, which is one of your callers, a caller or two ago, that season's over for the Yankees. That's ridiculous. Now, if you've ever listened to Positive Tommy, he would in a million years never agree with that comment. The Yankees have a great team. Now, are they World Series contender? Maybe, maybe not. But they're still one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
There's a lot of baseball, and we're hitting great without Judge even being in lineup. You got John Carlos.
Yeah, we're not getting off the ride yet, Ted. We're not getting off this ride yet.
It's not even close.
Thanks for the call, Ted. Positive Tommy. Negative Tommy once upon a time would have quit on the Mets after last night. But no, you don't get off the ride. You're frustrated, but you're not surprised. This is what they do. They are a roller coaster of a watch every night. This season has been a roller coaster. This is who they are. This is what they do. And you hope that this is just a page in the book of the 2025 season where, if they have that in their DNA, let's see how they fight back today. They also have given us some ridiculous walk-off wins. They also have given us some ridiculous comebacks. They hit last night. Like, I don't know. I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to keep doing shows and talking about it. I'm going to keep going to a game. Like, I can't wait for the Astros series next weekend. Old Timers Day. I'm not quitting on the team. Do I think they're winning a World Series this year? No, but I could be dead wrong, and I would love that. I would cry tears of joy if they won the World Series and I was dead ass wrong. Keith McPherson on the Fan. 1 hour to go. Call us up. We'll be right back.
It's the Yankees and Marlins. 410 today.
Giddy up, baby. Giddy up. The home run.
Driven by Jeep.
That was an extraordinary play.
Susan Waldman and Dave Sims call all the play-by-play on the Fan. 101.9 FM and always live on the free Odyssey.
Does Johnny Law have any options left? Chat GPT. How many options All right, I'm back here quickly trying to interact with the chat. Let's see. What's up? What's up? What's up, Victor? Military Mike, good to see you in here. Yo, for my YouTubers, go ahead, help your boy out and hit like for that algorithm. I broke my own personal record on YouTube. Let's see. Let me go to my YouTube stats where I'm also getting money little bit by little because you guys show me love. I had on my trade deadline stream, I had over 1,100 views on the trade deadline stream on YouTube. That's my greatest live stream of 2025. I've been doing this since February. So February, March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. On the last day of July, we got over 1,100 views. So thank you guys for that. Building the YouTube channel. You're Mr. Name That Yank. You calling? I'm about to say, let me check to see if you're calling now. Rough night for New York baseball, but they have to bounce back. Sure, the first game out of the trade deadline sucked, just like the first night out of the All-Star break sucked. So I do blame Rodon too. I started with that, and we'll go back to that. Thanks for that. Like, let's not leave that out. Let's not leave that out. Boone always throws new relievers to the Wolves. He did it last year with Tonkin and Leiter. Yeah, you're right, bro. And I'm going to bring that up too. That's what they do. Trial by fire. Sink or swim. Well played. Well played. Okay, let's see what else I didn't bring to the table stats wise. My trade deadline stuff is not even worth speaking on. Yeah, revenge of some former Yanks. Jansen Junk, Augustin Ramirez, Judge was in the cage. I got to tell people about the Somerset Patriots. Yeah, we will not let Rodon off the hook. Need better out of him. Yeah, Dominguez made some plays, but oh man. Yeah, fucking Loizaga. Bro. Fuck. Yo, we're back. Time is flying. I got less than an hour. Couple things before we get back to it. 888-808-1019. Shout out to my guy Mike and his son Maddox. Good luck on your tournament out there. Everybody enjoy your Saturday, whether you're going to play a baseball game or whether you're going to watch a baseball game. You know, just enjoying the weather. Summer is going to smoke by. Summer is gonna disappear on us. They say August is the Sunday of summer, and before you know it, it's gonna be Labor Day, and it's gonna be football. Are you ready for some football? I am not. I love football. I love the game. I know it's gonna be here. I did see that ESPN and NFL Network, they agreed on a blockbuster billion-dollar deal that will result in top media properties like Red Zone moving to the network. And yeah, the worldwide leader, they're at it again. The NFL is king. They're at it again. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Scott Hansen, though, he's got to keep his job, and he's got to be there for 7 hours of commercial-free football. But yeah, not yet. A couple more Sundays. We'll get there, folks. We had the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, but we're still in baseball, and you don't give up on baseball seasons. Last night was rough. Carlos Rodon, we need more out of you. It's got to be better. It's got to be better. Loizaga, I don't need any more out of Jonathan Loizaga. Honestly, I'm good. Steve is in Stamford, Connecticut on the Fan. What's up, Steve? Good. How are you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the call, Steve. Me too. Me too. We want more. We want better. We think higher of them and the standard and the type of baseball that they should be playing. But baseball is tough. You're playing against a Miami Marlins team, as we're talking about teams that have like Juan Soto makes more than their entire payroll. They don't spend any money, but they can go out there and beat you. They're scrappy. I was just telling you, they beat the Royals, they beat the Padres, they beat Milwaukee. Like, if you're not paying attention, like, these aren't your father's Miami Marlins or your brothers or your cousins, whatever. I don't know. They're ready to play. The Yankees got to know, when you step in that ring, you're going to get everybody's best shot. Even though you're not in first place, even though you haven't won a World Series in 16 years, you're still the New York Yankees. You still have all that talent. And yeah, nobody's crying about Volpe right now because he balled last night. Do it again. Clean up the defense. Take that demon time energy, that evil energy that we saw out of Volpe. Bro, he looked possessed. After he hit that home run, they showed him in the dugout. He looked possessed. He just was staring out. Good. Like, go to the depths of your soul and find it. You didn't get there. And that's what I was saying about him. You don't get to this level not being able to throw the damn ball to first base. He can do it. He can hit as well. Right? They showed that stat about how many fastballs he missed. I'm like, you don't get to Major League Baseball. That's the one thing. You got to be able to hit the fastball. Yeah, he was on it last night, so do it again. Speaking of last night as well. Oh, and Loizaga is out of options. There's only one option: DFA. All right. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, Mark Leiter Jr. is on the way back. Fernando Cruz is on the way back. Ryan Yarbrough's on the way back. Somebody's got to go. They cut Stroman yesterday. I think Loizaga is the next casualty. He doesn't have another option. He's on a one-year deal. You're talking about the Yankees spending money. It's a couple $1 million for Jonathan Loizaga, and I can't take it anymore. I can't stand watching him. I can't. Even as soon as he warms up, I'm looking around like, why? And here comes David Bednar and Camilo Duvall. Yesterday, David Bednar says there's no shortage of arms, and there's no shortage of looks either. Just a lot of different varieties and different ways to get guys out. It's just going to be really cool. There's not the first night. Camilo Doval, it's tremendous. There's so much talent in the bullpen when you look around. I think we're going to do a great job. Saturday. It's on Saturday, not the first timeout. We need a mulligan. False start. Right? Everybody back in the blocks. Right? We'll do over. That one didn't count. That one was bad. Let's go to Steve in Rockland on the Fan next. Hello, Steve.
You have in terms of reality. You know, when you get to this point in the baseball season, okay, you know, game 110 forward, I tend to look at the loss column, okay? That's what I tend to stop looking at the win. Look at the loss column, because at the end of the year, you know, as everything is adding up, that's what you're looking at. So the National League, the top 6 teams right now in the National League loss column, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. So there's 5 games in the loss column separating these teams. The Mets, for all their troubles, okay, 1 game out of first place in their division, okay? And if you look in the American League, it's not much different. And here's what I'm getting to. Just when it looks like there's going to be a team that runs away, look like the Tigers are going to run away and hide at the beginning of the season, maybe the Yankees are going to go run away and hide. And then it looked like Toronto was the team that was going to run away and hide. You know what? This is baseball in the luxury tax era, okay? And for whatever the reason is, whether it's a lack of fund, whether it's a Major League Baseball, it's not just the Yankees and the Mets. I mean, I watched Ronnie Mauricio. Little League, whatever. How many unassisted ground ball double plays at first base? Because the guy doesn't know what's going on. All right? I mean, it's just the lack of fundamentals.
He's a rookie, yeah. And it happens. Thanks for the call, Steve. I've seen him run outs. Not everybody plays clean baseball, but it's louder here in New York. This is WFAN. This isn't whatever radio station they have out in Milwaukee. This isn't the Score in Chicago. I don't know the rest of the radio stations everywhere else. That's all I got. I don't know them. I don't really go anywhere. I stay here. I do call in. They had me on Sportsnet in Toronto. I know WIP down there in Philly, but we're not making excuses for these guys. We want to see better. We want to see them win. But I will say this. I'm not off the ride, and you shouldn't be jumping off the roller coaster. You can't get off the ride. Not at this point. We're the second game into August, the second game into the post-trade deadline rest of the season, the dog days. They're going to lose games, but they're going to win too. And for the Mets, they just had a 7-game win streak. Now they have a 4-game losing streak. But yeah, when you look at, and that's a good way to put it, Steve, when you do look at the best team in baseball is only 4 wins better than the Mets in the loss column. The Mets have survived. I was talking the other night about how your bullpen is repaired. You survived the Dickie Love ladies. You survived Zach Pop, Chris Davinsky, Justin Hagerman, Kevin Herget, all these random ass dudes coming out of the bullpen. You survived that time, and you're still right there battling for first place a half game back. So yeah, but what it is, it's an echo chamber. It's the radio. You guys would not be listening to the radio if Joe B or Big Mac or myself came on and said, this is fine. This is okay. This too shall pass. What are you guys so frustrated about? Losing happens in baseball. They're going to lose a bunch of games. What? Why are you guys calling? Andrew's calling from Lawrence, New York on the Fan. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, Keith? I've been a long-time listener. I never was able to speak to you, so real fan and real pleasure to meet you for the first time.
Thanks.
I got a few thoughts, so hopefully they can merge with some of yours. I'm a 56-year-old Mets fan and Jet fan, but I'm very realistic. And, first, when I hear about, Juan Soto, which to me, I was so happy we got him. But like how other fans, I know you're a Yankee fan, people still talk about these players like years, like a year later. I'm like, enough. I don't get it. I don't get like
booed everywhere he goes too. You notice that? Like he got booed obviously going to San Diego because he played there, but he got booed in San Francisco too. He has become a villain because he's got the largest contract in the history of the game.
And what people don't realize is who wouldn't take that money?
Every single person.
Who would say no to that? So that's a whole other topic. But I wanted to bring up something to you. I brought up to Tiki and Evan, and I want you to hear me out because it sounds a little crazy, but in essence, it's not. So I know we like on baseball, we send people down when we need to kind of get them a little better, like Alvarez.
Right.
And it was perfect. We brought him down. He needs to do what he needed to do, and look at him now. So I said, why can't we use that for veterans? So why can't we use that for Alonso? Now, hear me out. I get he's out of options. He's a big-time player. But the guy needs some work. He's not working it out, at the major league level until he just fixes it. It's almost like he'll fix it by accident. Why can't they just take him out for a few days, just him, and then kind of really dissect what he's dealing with and kind of then fix it? With all the technology and the labs,
I don't know. You homered last night. You take Pete Alonso out of that lineup. Who's playing first base for you every day? Mark Vientos?
I get you, but like you see, like he hasn't been.
He's a big boy. He's got to work on it in the batting cage. He's got to work on it in batting practice. He's got to figure it out. Thanks for the call, Andrew. There is no sending down Pete Alonso. He's a $30 million first baseman. He's chasing history. He's going to have the most home runs in Mets history. There's no sending him down. Now, if he's hurt, he can have some time off and come back in a rehab start. There is some conversation around him and Lindor and what they might be potentially dealing with, but I think that's just excuses for these guys. Like there is no excuse. They got to be better. They're paid to be better. They are all stars. They are two guys that you are depending on. They got to come through, and they've had some terrible at bats. They've had some struggles over this last month and change, and that is why the team is only scoring 3 runs. That's why you've lost some games. There is no option to send Pete Alonso down. And then as far as Juan Soto goes, hey, this is what comes with the territory of being a money guy, right? This is what comes, and everybody should be a money guy. We all need money to live and survive. But what I'm saying is people look at it as like, okay, he didn't sign with the Nationals, the team that he won a World Series with. He turned down $440 million. Yeah, he's a Boris client. He was always going to free agency. The Padres trade for him, but then obviously they have their own issues and things that go on, and the owner passed, and AJ Preller trades him to the Yankees, and I think the Yankees thought, hey, once he gets this smell in his nose of the Bronx and the pinstripes and this Yankee lore, maybe he'll take an offer from us that's a little bit less than Steve Cohen across town. No, I know I wanted to believe that. No, he was always going to the highest bidder, and Steve Cohen outbid the Yankees by a lot. It ain't $5 million, it's so much more. And now that Juan Soto has that money, we talked about it with the All-Star game. He started off slow. He started off better than league average, but slow for Juan Soto's standards and like what the highest paid player in baseball should be hitting like. He turned it on in June. It was too little, too late. But I do feel like there was some animosity against him. 2 reasons, and we'll get back to the phones at 888-808-1019. One, with the players in the league saying, we're not voting him in, even though he's at the All-Star game every year. He had been there as a Yankee the year before. He had been there as a Padre, as a National. He had been to like 3 straight All-Star games in a row in different jerseys, 22, 23, and 24. Yeah, he went as a National, Padre, Yankee. But his peers... So we're not voting this guy in. He's got all the money in the world. He didn't earn it this year. There are better guys than him out there. Not really. He should have been at that All-Star game. It's ridiculous. Like the highest paid player in your sport. And we've been over that. But then also I feel like there's an agenda against him with these umpires. The strike zone for Juan Soto. Juan Soto knows the strike zone better than anybody in baseball. If you go against Juan Soto's strike zone, I question you. You saw it last week. In the Padres series, like I feel like there's, these umpires have it out for Juan Soto. Okay, you're paid to be this generational hitter, this great talent. Well, if you try to show me up, taking a ball, I'm calling it a strike. And I dare you to say something about it or I'll throw you out of the game. I'll show you who's boss. I'm not making anywhere near what you make. Ralph is in Manhattan on the Fan. What's up, Ralph?
Well, you're making excuses for Soto. I don't see why. Now, he goes up to the plate looking for walks. Keith, every single time he's
the league in walks.
Yeah, and what good is that? You're paying a king's ransom for the cat, and the guy's looking for a base on balls. It's a little ridiculous,
Yeah.
But there's one, and I understand where you're coming from, but you can't be so selective as to miss these opportunities where you're paid this money to drive in runs. That's what you're supposed to do. Thurman, quick word about Thurman, if you let me do it.
Mm-hmm.
Thurman was the guy that, the most clutch ball player in New York at the time. And I dare say for ever. I think that guy, when there was a man on second, he'd get that run in no matter what. And that was a tragic, tragic day when he passed away. I'll never forget it. I was on my way to a game and I heard about it. And it was just horrendous, about Boone. When he went in with a plan, and that's all well and good. Every manager has to have some kind of a plan. But when he saw things developing on the field, Keith, and he saw things not going his way and the thing was falling apart, that's when you got to take the bull by its horns and change your plan.
Yes.
And you got to, in the moment, that's what a good manager does, Keith. In the moment, he has to.
This isn't working with these new guys. They're folding under the pressure of being a Yankee. Somebody else that's been with us all year, get on the mound and finish it.
And Keith, you recognize that from where you were sitting, wherever you were watching that game. You sometimes wonder what kind of power Boone actually has in the dugout. I feel that the guy's a good baseball guy. I feel a lot of times he wants to do something. He wants to change the structure of the game, but he's afraid to change the structure of the game because he had a plan given to him by upstairs. That's what I think.
And you know what? He's not going to get in any trouble because that was the plan that they agreed on before the game. Thanks for the call, Ralph. The fans have Boone under a microscope. The fans are blaming Boone, and I don't blame him because of the performance yet, but what I question is why would you not go off script? And why did you tell us Thursday that Devin Williams is your closer, but the next game you get on the field, DeMilo Cavallo is your closer? Like I said, I once my wife went to sleep, I jumped on Twitter, and I think that game didn't end until around 10:52. About an hour before that, Sean Morash tweeted, Camilo Duvall is going to blow this game. So, we all saw it coming. Like the script, we have watched this Yankee team so much. You could predict the script, choose your own adventure. We knew we were going to go down on these new guys blowing the game. What we didn't know, plot twist, Jose Caballero, after the good he did, being a pinch runner and scoring, he would be the guy in right field to not be able to field his position and let that ball go all the way to the wall. It just was, it was like, when you're in a dream, I'm always in a dream where, I don't know, I'm an X-Men and I'm fighting, or I'm fighting with the X-Men and I'm or I'm just fighting and I can't land a punch the right way, but I'm still it was like we were in a game that we could not punch through. We weren't in control. It was no matter what we did, we were in this dream where it was our arms were heavy, our legs were heavy. For a minute, you have some success and then it just comes right back. So I said all the good that happened in that game. Some defensive plays from Jason Dominguez, Ryan McMahon, Volpe, they get erased. Stealing bases, clutch hits, home runs, it gets erased. 888-808-1019. Let me take another call before we go to the next break. Let's go to Chris and Bayshore on the Fan.
Yeah, hey Keith, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Listen, I think I'm not a huge Boone fan, and I think he's kind of an example of how the accountability these days. It seems like it's been taken too much away from the player, where they don't hold them, as much responsible for stuff on the field. But I think that you can't get on Boone and you can't get on Cashman for right now. I think they've done everything they could, given what they have. I mean, Cashman's tried to make the team better, and Boone is Boone. He's going to do what he's going to do. The whole thing with getting new guys is you want to get them into a game as soon as possible. And you got a guy who has closer experience, and obviously Williams the day before didn't really light it up. So I think there's enough there that justifies what he did. But I think getting on Cashman and Boone, I mean, let's hold the players accountable for what they're doing. A guy,
absolutely. Thanks for the call, Chris. Absolutely. Carlos Rodon, I'm starting with you. Not good enough. You can't go from rolling to blowing it to giving up homers. You can't keep the ball in the ballpark. You can't. You can't go from giving up nothing to giving, and then we got to take you out of the game. You get in trouble. But then I go to Boone. Why is Loizier the first guy up after Rodon all the time? I got to make shirts. Low Izaga, high Ajita. That's my thing I've been rolling with this season with Jonathan. Like I have Ajita. As soon as they show the bullpen cam, Loiziga goes into the game and he gives up a single, and then they pinch hit, and he gives up a hit by pitch. So it's like, you're not helping. And then obviously the whole plan to get these guys going, get some action. Shout out to Ravon in my chat who brought it up. He's like, they always do this. Boone always throws new relievers right as soon as they get. Remember last year, Michael Tonkin landed at 2 a.m. He ends up in the game that night, and they say, oh, they were preserving Clay Holmes for the season. And Clay Holmes had thrown like 10 pitches and couldn't go back out. They throw Michael Tonkin. They're okay losing that game. Did the same thing with Leiter Jr. last year. Leiter Jr. just gets here. The Yes Network shows him just getting there, meeting his teammates. They put him in the game. Maybe it's part of their philosophy, trial by fire. You know what? If we lose the game, so be it. But your first game as a Yankee, you don't get to watch. Your first game as a Yankee, you participate. And if you succumb to the pressure, we'll take the L. 888-808-1019. I got no time left. 30 minutes left. Keith McPherson on the Fan. BRB.
Boomer and Theo. Mornings on the Fan. 1019 FM.
This was as exciting as
I'm like 30 minutes.
Guaranteed lowest price on Falcon tires. There's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. And when it comes to getting more free services,
Crazy. All right, yo. This is probably my last little run. I think I'm gonna be done at 3:24. So this stream will end at 3:25. Yo, you've been killing it, bro, with your input in the chat. I just shouted you out on the radio. Active Met home run leaders also. Yeah. So we're 4 away from Pete getting the record. Yeah, you can't send Pete down. Oh, yeah. Before, when you said Rico Garcia is still on the team. So even though they sent him away and he came back, like, he's part of the team. That's a good point right there. We know. Yeah, that's it too. That's another good point. He was very close. All right. And I gotta tell him about the game. I'm going to the Black Yankees night at TD Ballpark in Somerset. Okay. We won't have another break. We're going straight to 24. Okay. Not wasting any time here. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening to my quick show, 1 to 3:30. We've got 22 minutes left. So I'm going to say what I have to say, and I'm going to get out of the way. We'll take your calls at 888-808-1019. You know, I had a caller in the last segment before we got to this hour say something like, you can't get on Cash, you can't get on Boone. I'm not getting on Brian Cashman. The last time I was on, we celebrated Brian Cashman. Shout out to Cashman for coming on Evan and Tiki and speaking as well. Like, this is not about Brian Cashman. I am not saying that the guys that Cashman got suck, as some people are saying. I'm not saying that, you know, these aren't like guys that are going to help the team. I am getting on Aaron Boone a little bit, as Brian Hoke reports. He asked Aaron Boone, how do you get over last night's loss? And Aaron Boone says, melatonin helps. I couldn't sleep last night, Aaron Boone. I took magnesium, melatonin, fat burner that helps you sleep, all that type of stuff. I have to take that type of stuff doing a show till 2 a.m. during the week. I can't just go to sleep at night. And last night was my night to get some good rest. And I'm up till 12 o'clock thinking about how you can't lose that game. Stay with me, folks. After Brian Cashman does his job at the deadline, I said, Cashman, thank you. You rebuilt this bullpen. You rebuilt this team. They have a bench. And I said, now it's on Aaron Boone and the guys. I give the Marlins credit. They're young, they're scrappy, but you were up 6-0. You were up 9-4. You took the lead again late, and you just stayed on this script of like these new guys have to pitch. Our bullpen, they need rest. Okay. Aaron Boone, take the wheel. Aaron Boone, impact the game. Stop the bleeding. If it ain't working after Jake Bird, Bednar struggle, I don't know if I'm just going to Camilo Duvall. Maybe I need somebody that's been in the uniform before, because it went from a laugher thinking we're good to being in peril. And what I'm saying is, Aaron Boone is under a microscope the rest of the way because Cashman did give him the pieces. Judge is going to be back at some point. They have plenty of talent on this team. But when you look at the standings, last night was a night for you to gain ground on not the Milwaukee Brewers. They were in front of me. They have the best record in baseball. But going back to the standings, it was a night for you to gain ground on the Toronto Blue Jays, who lost. You could have been 2.5 back. You could have continued your win streak. Also, with the Red Sox winning 3 in a row, it was a night for you to, also separate from them. Now you're only a half game ahead of them. You can't lose that game. And we're going to get to you. And this is the last thing I have to say. I don't want anybody to misconstrue my show or my thoughts or whatever. You can't lose that game. Jose Caballero, field the damn ball. You can't lose that game. Professional relievers that we just went to get, Loaizaga, Rodon, and the rest of the Yankees too, whether it's Dominguez, who almost robbed that grand slam, but also like nowhere to throw the ball. Volpe can't make the play. Wells giving them outs, walking guy, whatever. It is on Aaron Boone and the players. The Yankees so many times this year just don't play a clean game. And that's why you weren't surprised. It sucked to watch, but you weren't surprised because they have that in their DNA, finding a way to lose games. Now you have a rookie on the mound today in Cam Schlittler. And then tomorrow is Luis Gil's first game back. So you're on sweep alert because you didn't win that first game. We don't know what Cam Schlittler is going to do today. And we also don't know what Luis Gil is going to look like. And you need to win this series because you have the Red Sox on your ass and you should be trying to run down the Toronto Blue Jays. The division is still in play. And obviously we expect you to be a wild card. You just added to this team and you immediately killed all the good vibes. Robbie's in Lennox on the Fan. What's up, Robbie?
When people think Cashman did that so great. Okay, so let me make my point of view respond. Right? First of all, what do we have? A one-man rotation? Would you trust anybody besides Max Fried? Do you trust Carlos Rodon in the big game? Please tell me that you don't.
Of course
I
not.
don't. Okay. Okay. So there you go. So we have a one-man rotation. So he does nothing about the starting rotation. Okay. Cashman did nothing to do about the construction of this team. I've been talking about this for 10 years, for 15 years. I remember calls to Francesa in the afternoon talking about the way this team is constructed, the New York DHs, that should be a DH instead of an NY on their uniform. Until Brian Cashman, until Aaron Boone are removed from this team, and this is the fault of ownership, this team will never win in the postseason.
Okay, maybe. And I know that's a hot topic right now, that this era of Cashman and Boone, they're never going to win. They were in the World Series last year. They have a great chance to get back this year. Now, when you talk about the roster and the team and the control, okay, I don't know if you paid attention to all Major League Baseball. When I had my show Thursday, we talked about it. They did not move. Joe Ryan didn't get traded. Zach Gallen didn't get traded. Sandy Alcantara didn't get traded. The starting pitcher market, Dylan Cease didn't get traded. Nobody got starting pitchers that were of impact, guys that you would want to hand the ball to in October. If you want Mike Soroka, Merrill Kelly, you can get those guys. The Mets also didn't go get a starter. The industry decided that the price was too high for these starting pitchers for 2 months and hope that you're in October and that they make an impact. Okay, Cashman not getting a starter. Luis Gil returns tomorrow. Ryan Yarbrough is back at some point. They just kicked a starter to the curb. That's how confident they are. Are they going to be incorrect? We shall find out. But they have 2 potential starters coming back, and you don't need that many starters in October. When you talk about DHs, okay, Stanton has been an albatross because Stanton is a guy that they brought in and they made a DH and whatever. But like Judge being a DH, that is a technicality right now. We hope that he comes back and eventually can play the field at the end of the month. And then guys like Ben Rice being a DH, or who else has been in the DH spot? Like Ben Rice is catching. It is what it is. It's not a bad problem to have. 2 prolific home run hitters are the Yankees DH. I joke about the Mets not ever being able to find a DH, having a revolving door of DHs from Darren Ruff to Daniel Vogelback to Dom Smith, who ended their, run last night, who, ended the game for them last night or hit the winning run. Zach is in New Jersey on the Fan. What's up, Zach?
What's up, Keith?
What's up?
Really quick, I want to say 2 points, but really quick, I did want to say I totally agree with you on the Cashman thing. I think he added, 3 legitimate bullpen pieces, and I think they're solely better because of that. And I think you have to give him credit.
And
for
they're
that.
not rentals
But I just want to say
for next year. That's another thing, if I can add that. He made moves, not giving up too much, but shoring up the bullpen also for next year. Control.
Yep. But I do want to say, I didn't call about this, but I did want to say, I don't think it's right to totally say that Soto took the Mets because of the money. I really do think that this was a guy that Cohen was looking at for 3 years, and I think he went in and got him. It just, doesn't matter.
I don't think it's a problem. I don't understand why any Met fan isn't laughing like, ha, 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 ha. We have the richest owner. That's what you're supposed to do. It's obvious he chose the Mets for the money and the suite and the security detail and his mom having a clothing allowance. Nobody else was putting that out there.
Yep. But I did want to call and say about something about the Mets. Big Mets fan. I do think that that Stearns had a great deadline. And like you said, the price of the starting pitchers was too high. The one thing, though, is since they've acquired, signed, whatever it was, came up, Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, these guys are no better than 261 hitters, which is Nimmo at best. To me, it's very frustrating. And it's, you get these guys, unlike the Yankees, who are now rentals, who are going to be here 55 games. Hopefully you see to extend it, but there's a chance that might not be. And you have these guys who are not hitting in clutch situations, not hitting with runners in scoring position. You keep hearing this, Lindor's our captain, so on and so forth. But, they did nothing on David Wright Day. They did nothing yesterday. And this is what, you got Lindor, who's a 247 hitter since coming to the Mets after the Guardians. Obviously, I disagree with the sentiment that Soto is just looking for walks, but he's not getting the job done. Alonso's coming back to life. And to me, it's very frustrating. I don't know if you have an opinion on it, what you think needs to be done, where you think things are going wrong. But as a Mets fan, watching these 4 guys do what they're doing, it's garbage.
Yeah, another lineup shakeup. Something has to change with these guys. They make too much money to not be coming through. Pete Alonso, people were talking about as an MVP in the beginning of the year. Lindor got to the All-Star game because of what he did actually coming out of the gate. So Soto is paid a lot of money, but take the contract out of it. Before Juan Soto made all this money, we watched him last year. He had 40 homers. He was much closer to a 300 hitter. Obviously, he was hitting in front of Judge, but these guys got to get it done. It's disappointing. It's absolutely disappointing because the Mets' home field advantage that they have, it's starting to not look like that's a real thing, but the fans are still showing up, 42,000 plus in attendance. They got to break out of it. They got to be able to score runners in scoring position. I don't know. They need another team meeting. I think another lineup change, right? It was Lindor leading off, and they changed that, and that helped him a little bit. Maybe you need to drop Lindor in the lineup, or I don't know. I don't know the answer because, spreading it out doesn't necessarily work either, because when you get to the bottom of the order with the baby Mets or guys like Tyrone Taylor or Luis Torrens, it's not it. I think that they can break out of it today, though. It's a day game, and I remember before they went on the road, right, Lindor and Alonso broke out of it with the day game. I remember being on that night before saying, hey, quick turnaround. They don't have a lot of time to think. Bright, day game, maybe they break out of it. So look for the Mets to do that in about an hour. Brian is in West Palm, Florida on the Fan. Hello, Brian.
How you doing again today? A great caller there. I don't want to be repetitive. Ralph said it all. The earlier caller, he took the words right out of my mouth. This whole thing with. But the thing frustrating me last night is why? Come on, they couldn't have brought in Devin Williams for three outs or Luke Weaver for 3 outs. Come on, it's this is ridiculous.
Because they die hard on their own decisions. I say they die hard on their trades, contracts, and their decision making, and they will literally take an L and say, well, in favor of resting our guys that we've overused, we pitched these guys that were on the shelf because they were being traded, and it wasn't good enough. But that's what I was screaming today. Stop the bleeding. You're the manager. impact the game. You can't tell me that in favor of rest, you let these guys chill there. Thanks for the call, Brian. I'm like, they just met Austin Wells today. They just put the uniform on for the first time today. There's a ton of pressure, and they folded under it. If I am managing that game, I can't lose that game. Knowing that I have a rookie on the mound starting tomorrow, knowing that Luis Gil is starting on Sunday, knowing where I am in the standings, knowing what our fan base is feeling because of the additions we just made, how we, like I literally said Thursday, can we enjoy tonight? For one night, can we not complain? For one night, can we actually look at Brian Cashman and say, you didn't give up much and you got high leverage relievers that are under control. You got us a bench. You found somebody that can play the hell out of third base. Thank you. We're good. They erased that immediately in one night. Here we go. About an hour, less than an hour until they get back on the field and try to erase it. But Perez, like, he might mow him down. Who knows? I don't know. Fingers crossed. They need to win this one and set up the rubber match for tomorrow. Jonathan is out in Los Angeles on the Fan. What's up, my man? How you feeling?
Yo, what's good, my guy Keith? Good hearing you on a Saturday morning, well, afternoon now. Man, even Sebastian was like, I thought Keith gets on only at nighttime. I'm like, man, the man's putting in work. Hey, bro, Keith, stop putting in dress codes for the Yankees, man. You're costing us our season,
my
man.
bad. I got too much power in the Yankee front office. I put in a dress code.
Oh, man, you gotta love these colors, man. You gotta love it, man. But yesterday's game, bro, it was crazy. But at the end of the day, that's baseball, Susan. I mean, it's crazy the amount of pressure you were just saying there right now that these pitchers feel or players feel as soon as they put the pinstripes on, man. I really hope it was just they got nervous. It's the first time. You watch it all the way. Like you said, we got to win today, man. One more thing. It's crazy the amount of hate that Cashman gets, man. I got a few Yankee fans here living in L.A. Well, the only thing they tell me, we need Cashman out. I'm like, bro, the guy got us relievers, really top relievers. Now, it's one thing they're not performing as on the field. And, I mean, come on. You got to give credit to where credit's due, bro.
He went to town like he said he would. He solved a lot of problems. Now it's on Boone and the players. It's on Boone to make the right moves and the players to execute. And as a group last night, the new players, they did not. They did not.
No, they did not. And you know what? I'm happy with the offense, bro. But like you say, bro, we got to get this game today, man. Hey, want some free money, bro? Bet over on that racetrack game, man. I think they're gonna go over. But hey, man, have a good weekend, my guy.
Thanks for the call, Jonathan. Yeah, this Speedway Classic going on tonight. I just said how wacky baseball has been. I just said, like, when I was on Thursday, they played a game at Great American Ballpark where there was 16 runs scored in the 8th inning. That game ended. It was a ridiculous game. I forget the final score. I think it was like 12-11. But yeah, Speedway Classic tonight, 7 p.m. on Fox. They're playing in a NASCAR racetrack, and I bet there's runs scored. As a matter of fact, there was something else that I was going to pull because it's baseball. We gotta realize that too. Yes, we can complain and we can look at things because it's also compounded. It's from the past. But yeah, Michael Fliegelman, you guys know Fleeg, especially if you listen to Overnight with me and Big Mac. Fleeg says there was a game with 33 combined runs tonight, talking about last night. 2 others with 25 combined runs, and 2 of those 3 had 40 combined hits, all while the Mets getting their lone hit with runners in scoring position required a lucky bounce. It's baseball. It doesn't make sense. We can't make sense of it. And that's why I also believe, like, you can win the World Series having a lot of these up and down roller coaster moments that the Yankees have had, that anybody has. Like, you can't predict it. It's unpredictable. You just have to get into the dance. So whether the Yankees are able to win the division this year or the Yankees are a wild card, whatever, you just got to win enough to get in and then hope that you are healthy. Health is paramount. Both of these teams are relatively healthy. And hope that they stay that way. Obviously need Judge to come back. But if they stay that way, come October, it's anybody's game. Pat is in East Islip next on the Fan. What's up, Pat?
Hey, Keith. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Listen, I was just thinking, I was listening to you, and you think back to 1978, 47 years ago. I was 15 when Thurman passed away. And you think back then, like, you couldn't even guess what a GM was because Steinbrenner would be on the phone with Martin or with Lemon, and he would, like a guy like Wells would be gone.
Yeah.
He walks off second base, he'd be gone. Loizaga, are you kidding me? He wouldn't even They would have sent him away like months.
Wouldn't get 10 opportunities to screw up.
Every time he comes in, like you said before, I get agitated because I know he's going to blow the game. One way or another, he's either going to load the bases or he's going to blow the game. It's like you can put Keith McPherson in there to pitch.
I would throw I'd probably walk everybody. Thanks for the call, Pat. Speaking of throwing, I'm not throwing the first pitch tonight, but when I leave here, I'm taking a train home and I'm driving out to Somerset. If you're out in that area and you're interested in coming to see a game tonight, they're honoring the Negro Leagues. The Somerset Patriots are playing as the Black Yankees. It'll be myself, Willie Randolph out there with 2 former Negro League players. They're doing this whole thing tonight, and I've been invited to be the MC. So when I get out of here, I'm drive that hour and change out to Somerset, and I'll be the master of ceremonies all through the game, and then it's fireworks night. So if you've never seen a game, it's a good night to go. The weather is nice. Somerset Patriots, TD Ballpark. Game starts tonight at 7. Let me get my last calls in before this time evaporates. Dave is in Maywood on the Fan next. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Keith, great listen. I always hoped you're on when I turn it on at night. And just wanted to point one thing out. I wonder if you noticed this when you were at the stadium. I was at a Phillies game with a Phillies fan, and I'm looking up at the opposing, even our own players, and they don't list the batting averages anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They list them all by OPS. And I said, I've never seen that before. And he said, oh, yeah, no, they do that now. I saw it at Citi Field. I said, I've never seen this before. It's like they're embarrassed at these low batting averages. I heard the caller like 5 guys before talking about the low batting average. It's league-wide. Nobody's hitting 300 anymore. Let's just face it. You're hitting 269. That's decent. I mean, what do you think? Did you notice that? What's the story with it?
100%. Thanks for the call, Dave. I went to the Friday night Yankees game where they hosted the Phillies, and I'm in the bleachers, and I think it was Chico. Shout out to Chico. Chico holds the flag during the 7th inning stretch for God Bless America. Legendary creature. Chico taps me. He's like, look up at the big screen, and I'm like, oh, would you look at that? I go, OPS is Wally Pipp batting average. They put the batting averages down. It's OPS for everybody now. I'm like, I think that just happened for the first time last Friday. I don't know what it is. I do know what it is, though. It's just like, it's baseball where we've gotten, man, Jeff Passan was just going back and forth. With Minky, I got to go to his, you could talk. I want to pull up the,
he went back and forth with, I believe, Doug Minkiewicz about how to an easy swing. I believe he was talking about one of the players that was dealt on trade deadline day, and he mentioned how he's an easy swinger, I think. And Doug Minkiewicz took offense to that because Jeff Passan has never played baseball.
Yeah, but whatever. Passan is great at his job, and what he said to Doug was something about like, "Are you mad that batting average?" I'm trying to find the words for it here, but I'm running out of time. So, but basically, what Jeff Passan was saying is like, batting average isn't a stat that they hold so high anymore, and we are in the future now, 2025 Major League Baseball, where OPS is what you're going to see. Pat out on Long Island on the Fan. What's up, Pat?
How's it going, Keith? So I'm sort of going to continue what they were saying earlier. I think Boone's more the problem than Cashman, though. We can't really judge this. Just need to make it to the playoffs. But I had one question in regards to the team. Do we judge this team yet until Judge is back? And on top of that, can we really say bye Boone, bye Cashman after making it to the World Series?
No. Thanks for the call, Pat. They're both safe. They both just had contract extensions. You guys call for their jobs all the time, and they laugh. They're not going anywhere. Who's going to fire them? And I don't know how many times I've said this. If they fire Cashman, they need Cashman to hire the next guy. He's got to interview the next guy. If they fire Aaron Boone, they're going to hire the next Aaron Boone. Similar type of guy. Can we judge this team? Yeah, we judge this team every pitch, every out, every inning. Can we judge this team? But they will look different when Judge is back. And honestly, judging them without Judge, play on words, judging them without Judge, they're hitting. They're able to hit. I came on the first game of that Tampa series that they lost, and I said, oh, here we go. Losing Aaron Judge is like an NFL team losing their starting quarterback, no offense. And they shut me up. They figured it out. So what Passan had said was, This description came from Doug. Do you hate them too, or are you just bitter because batting average is no longer the metric people care about, and it's the only one that you were ever good at? Stay bitter, my guy. And yeah, people are just moving away from batting average. Joe, out on Staten Island, my last call of the day.
You got to love these guys pining for George Steinbrenner to come back. If they were real Yankee fans, they would know that we won because Steinbrenner got suspended and we didn't trade Mariano Rivera feeling first.
Sure.
And, so, I mean, if Steinbrenner was here, we wouldn't even got to see Judge. He would have been traded. So let's keep it all in perspective here.
Thanks for the call. That's all I've got. Coming up next, New York Yankees baseball. Hooray! I'm gonna get on the train, get in the car, and listen to the game as I drive out to see the Somerset Patriots and go link up with my guy, Willie Randolph, to MC and host out there tonight. Fun hosting this quick 2.5-hour show on a Saturday. I'll be back on Monday night, and yeah, hopefully the Mets can bounce back and get a win today, and same for the Yankees, and we could forget about, the first game after the trade deadline. It is what it is. Again, reminder, these shows are daily, and we have to go off of what happened the night before. There's still a lot more baseball left. Keep it locked right here. Emmanuel Barbari, Dave Sims, Susan Waldman, Yankees baseball on the Fan.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate.
All right, yo, I gotta run. I gotta get the train, and I gotta go out to Somerset, man. Appreciate y'all on the way out. Make sure you share this with a friend and hit like. Appreciate y'all. Again, have a good Saturday. Don't let the Mets or the Yankees kill your vibe.